What's up, YouTube? You know what time it is. The places where your gamers' voices are heard, and your boy Jay is dropping that word. So what's up, everybody? Yeah, man, I just want to appreciate everybody who's been checking out my videos, man. You know, I'm back up in it, like usual. And yeah, man, I'm trying to get on some type of a regular schedule where at least I'm kicking out a video every now and again on more of a consistent clip. So yeah, man, I just wanted to go ahead and just do it again, man, and bring up the subject, man, because I'm not seeing a whole lot of this being talked about when it comes to the Xbox guys. You know, it's just kind of like just been given a complete pass, because we know how the double standard is, man. When it comes to Xbox, it's all different when it comes to Xbox doing something versus PlayStation doing something. So we got the subject we have E3 coming up, which in my opinion, man, is still the biggest gaming show of the year. And it always will be until there's something else that replaces it, man. I haven't personally seen anything that rises to the level of E3 status in regards to the gaming industry. Until I see that, that's when I would say, okay, well, yeah, it makes sense that a lot of the big three are not in it, right? So that brings me to the question of should Sony fans be upset that Sony won't have an E3? You know, it's always been interesting to me, man. If you look back, Sony stopped doing their E3s. I think it was in 2018 or so, man, where they just stopped. And I remember when it was basically the Xbox One X came out, they didn't want to be anywhere near that thing, man, to especially when compared to they had a subpar PS4 Pro that just wasn't hacking it, and they knew this. So to me, that was what, you know, now that's my speculation. The facts are they just didn't show up for the show to even compare to what Xbox had when it comes to hardware. Those are facts. But the speculation is for what are the reasons of why they did it. Now that's the reason I say it was. Factual is they didn't show up, but what their reason for showing up was, their official statement was, you know, basically it came down to E3s are not really as important as they used to be, and they didn't think it was necessary for them to show up to these E3s when they can just do smaller venues and shows independently on their own, blah blah blah. So in my opinion, it was a bunch of bull. You know, when it comes down to it, they had nothing to show. They had already been showing all of their stuff years in advance in prior shows. So of course they had nothing to show. The last 2 years of them being at E3, they were literally showing the same games they've been showing for the whole generation. They were just showing the same games over and over again. So yeah, when it gets to that point, of course it's redundant. Of course you're wasting money because you don't really have nothing to show. So that was pretty clear. The next thing was, obviously, they didn't want to be showed up by having inferior hardware right next to the Xbox One X. That wasn't going to be a good look for them. And one thing you know about Sony, when it comes to their business strategy, they do not show up if they think they're going to get showed up. It's just as simple as that. These dudes would rather be quiet and does not show up than show up and get shown up. So, I mean, and look, you got to hand it to them. It is a pretty good business strategy because they get away with that bullshit every time. They could just not show up and somehow that's okay for them. So, you know, they've been getting away with this for a long time. So now we're seeing that materialize now. When, put this into perspective, okay? You should, as a fan of whatever platform that you're on, you should, when a new generation happens, you should want your platform of choice to be able to come out and show what your investment is going to be for the foreseeable future and why you should invest into it, right? You would think that, hey, they would want to show, hey, here's what we have for our fans. Here's the games you can look forward to, you know, and you could be excited about. But, you know, where are you, Sony? I mean, you think about it. Like, in my opinion, Sony has gotten a complete pass when it comes to the gaming media. even when it comes to a lot of these YouTube personalities, man, and these industry guys, they just act like it's just totally okay that Sony can just check out and not even show up to literally the biggest gaming show of the year. And I just think they should get a shit ton of more criticism for this, man, and it shouldn't be allowed to just be a pass for them. You know, now they did show some Horizon, and that was great and all. You know, and you know, that's the great thing in their state of play. But if they think that that's gonna make up for not having an E3, come on, man. Now they do got some plans to be showing some other games. I have heard rumblings that they may have some new IP that they want to show, and then this and that, and that's great. I hope they do. But I would think they would want to show that right on stage, being compared with what Xbox has to show and what Nintendo has to show, just like it should be, right? All the big three just sitting right out there where we can compare all the shows, we can look at what they have to offer, and we can look at, hey, give us those prospects of what platform is doing what, and to what degree we should be just excited for them, right? You know, I would think if Sony's so-called the market leader, they would be the first ones out there in front showing that, hey, we got it covered, man. We may not have Game Pass, but we got the games. So you ain't gotta worry about it. You would think if they were so confident, they would be at this E3 with Microsoft and Nintendo, but they ain't showing up. So, you know, my thing is this, man. You know, what irritates me about the whole thing is it's not being talked about. It's just kind of like we just overshadow it like it doesn't even matter that Sony's not showing up. And I personally think Sony is up to what they usually are up to. If they don't know they ain't got it, they ain't showing up to be showed up. I think they've been afraid of Microsoft ever since they realized Microsoft is not playing around. They're investing into their ecosystem. And they know Microsoft got way deeper pockets than they do. Microsoft is $1 trillion company, almost a $2 trillion company. Sony's in the 130 to 140 billion dollar company. So that tells you it's a major difference in their market caps, and it's not even close. So Sony knows, yeah, you know, Microsoft ain't messing around, and they're actually in it to actually win it this time around, unlike what they did in the last generation. And now Sony's running scared. I mean, it's just as clearly as much as that, to not show up to this year's E3 to show your fans what you are gonna have in store for them for the next new generation. That shouldn't be given a pass by anybody. And that's what really pisses me off about this double standard BS, where Sony's is giving passes with stuff that only just makes them a worser company. If you think about it, you expect this from their Sony fanboys, but I don't think Xbox guys should be letting them off the hook. I don't think the gaming media should be letting them off the hook with just not showing up. I think they should be called out, as they should, as Microsoft would if they were just not showing up. You imagine if Microsoft just didn't show up or said we're going to do smaller shows and show our games independently. You imagine what the gaming media would be saying? But Sony does this stuff and it's like crickets, dog. Now you hear little things here and there, but let's just keep it real. It's nowhere near to what you would hear if it was Microsoft. And I don't want to hear that, well, Microsoft, they need to show the games more than Sony. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've noticed, Sony hasn't really shown any of their new big games that are going to be coming out for this generation either. So other than the ones that we know about, and those are just obvious ones, they haven't showed us a heck of a lot either of what's going to be coming and what new things that we can be looking out for. So in my opinion, Sony has just as much of an obligation to show up and present as Microsoft has that obligation. So it's not more of an obligation for Microsoft than it is for Sony. That's some BS. I don't want to hear that. Like, both companies, all these companies should be showing up, showing their fans what's in store for them. What did you invest in? And here's what you could be excited for. Okay, this bottom line. So for anyone to give that a pass and act like that's okay, get out of here. I ain't trying to hear that. So, man, yeah, man, that's just pretty much my thoughts on that. I just wanted to, spark this conversation, man, because I don't think it's being talked about enough, just by gamers. And I really think, this is for the Sony fanboys out there, man. Y'all really should be upset. Y'all really should be hitting, instead of all this nonsense, with this cult following. Now they got these guys doing Twitter looking like they're Mark Cerny now, as I guess is their god. I guess they went off of Ryan because he was just selling them out left and right, because of course God of War is coming to the PS4, and of course Sony lied yet again. I mean, what else is new? When I heard that it wasn't coming out this year, it wasn't coming out to next year, I was like, duh. And that it was coming to PS4, I was also, again, duh. Like, to me, these are no revelations. These are no new things. It's obvious. Sony's a corporation. They're going to want to make money. Why would they give up, a install base of a 100 million or so of install base of their PS4s when they don't really have to? Why would they do that? They need money. I mean, anything, you think about it, they don't really have any other platform, or they don't have PC to really rely on. They don't have mobile games. They don't have Game Pass. They don't have all that. So they're really just relying on their software sales on their consoles. So of course they're going to rely on the PS4. I mean, that's obvious. The thing is, and I don't even have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is Sony lied, talking about generations, trying to put the pressure on Microsoft, because Microsoft came out and was honest, and they did just like what they did in the first of the last generation. They were going to do all the same things that all this stuff about not trading your games and all that stuff. Sony was going to do all the same stuff. But when they seen the reception that Microsoft got, they were like, well, they reversed course on everything. So, I mean, and this is documented. They just literally were going to come out and do a lot of the same things, and ended up still doing a lot of the same things. You still have to be online on a Sony PlayStation. And we've seen how that's turning out, with you being able to play a lot of your older games, and they're shutting down the servers of these older games. So Sony's been way worse on those type of things that people were so concerned about in the first of the last generation. And Microsoft has been great on those things, but they also, again, Microsoft never gets a credit for that they've actually made sure your games follow with you, that you don't have to worry about, all these servers are going to close down, you're not going to be able to play these games anymore. That's more of a concern on Sony than it is with Microsoft, because Microsoft has made clear you're going to be able to play your older games. You're going to be able to take those games with you. And not only that, you're going to be able to have a console that you invest into that's going to be able to play all of those games better and be able to take advantage of your new hardware you have. You don't have that promise with Sony. So I'm just saying, if you look at quality and the value for your money, it's hands down not even close to Microsoft is where that quality and value for your money is. And Sony is literally playing catch up and just outright outclassed when it comes to that. So for any other nonsense, this is ridiculous. So, man, I just wanted to dig into that, man. It's just, these are the things that really bugs me when you see the double standards, man. Sony gets away with the stuff time and time again. And it's sad, because a lot of this is embedded into mainstream, just to believe that no matter what, I guess a Sony PlayStation is the answer, right? I mean, a lot of these people, you gotta remember, a lot of retail, just ordinary casual gamers that just go out there and buy, they don't know. They just listen to whatever mainstream tells them. And it's a good thing we're starting to see that change. The tides are changing on that. But especially Xbox guys, they really need to be out there fighting instead of doing this false equivalency stuff, this passive aggressive stuff. You're starting to see a little bit more of a fight of them now, but it just seems like they have to have everything slanted in their favor so much before they just start to just tell the truth and start to say it like it is. Other than that, they're on some industry stuff. They're on some mainstream, trying to keep it fair and equal. No, you could tell the truth about something and not be a fanboy. And when it comes to Sony fanboys, they're going to say you're an Xbox fanboy no matter what you do. You could just simply say, hey, it's good that Game Pass offers great values to its gamers, who in a good option for gamers who don't want to buy every game, one game at a time. You can say that, and you will still be you'll be an Xbox fanboy as soon as you say it to these Sony fanboys. So does it matter to try to, oh, let me just not say the truth about things. Let me say both consoles are really great. And yeah, you know, PlayStation is swell. And I mean, it's like, okay, bro, yeah, there is some good things about PlayStation that you can point out. But when you just don't even talk about the obvious glaring issues with the PS5, along with just their ecosystem and what they're doing that's anti-consumer, and what they're doing that's a slap in the face to all gamers, all the lying they're doing, and just not really even pointing that out every time you talk about them. It's like, what are you doing, bro? What are you really doing? Because really, honestly, I don't see Sony doing anything other than, you know, anything that really deserves any real praise, especially when you consider all the things that they're doing that deserves shame. Right? I think they have more shame on them in what they're doing when they're anti-consumer and just lying straight to your face than what they should have as praise, right? And when you're too busy just thinking about praising them, well, then you just forget about all the negative things that they're doing, and you also make light of those things in a way where it just looks like, well, I guess that's not so bad, because you're constantly talking about the good things they're doing instead of pointing out the negative things that they're doing and the lying that they're doing. So, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not going to keep rambling on about this. I just wanted to, man, speak my piece on this, man. I wanted to see what you guys think about it. You know, do you think Sony should be showing up at this E3? And do you think they should be held accountable for not showing up at E3? That is my question to you guys. And, you know, I really love to hear what you guys have to think about it. But all right, man, until the next time, man, I really appreciate it. For those of you who are new, please like, subscribe, do that whole thing, man. I'm gone.